Happy Tuesday, everybody. I wanted to do a quick Daily Money Live with Janae to talk about some current events going on and how the world affects your money, because guess what? It does. Especially on yesterday and throughout this week and probably the next week, we are going to see whether some things, the way they shake out, is going to help or harm you. All right. So as of right now, Evergrande is a real estate developer in China, okay, in Beijing, and they are billions, hundreds of billions of dollars in debt. I think they have about $300 billion in liabilities. But what you need to know is that on Thursday, they have $100 million due in interest, okay? And you're probably thinking to yourself, so what? Who cares? That's in China. Here's why you should care. Soon as this started rumbling over the weekend, the Dow on yesterday, the stock market went down. At first, it was like 900 points, and then it ended up, I think, like 600 or 700 points down. It was pretty bad yesterday. I'm not going to even look at my investments. I don't need that kind of, stress in my life today. But those of you who are investing, so whether you have a 401k, you have a 403b, Roth 401k, Roth IRA, whatever you have, it took a hit yesterday. It was no way that it didn't take a hit with the stock market going down that much. You got hit. You lost money yesterday, okay? So that's just one example of how the world affects your money. Now, to go even further on Evergrande, but the world, as well as those in China, are wondering if the government is going to bail them out. $300 billion in liability is a big issue. $100 million just due in interest on Thursday. Interest is a problem. And so people are trying to figure out if China's government is going to let them just fall. Now, China government has said that they are probably looking to use them as a warning to other companies to not get so, free about taking on so much debt. And so they may end up if they can't do the $100 million on Thursday, they may end up letting them sweat a little bit and then end up restructuring their debt so that investors get their money back and the China economy doesn't really take as much as a hit. They said that there are some investors that were invested in their wealth fund who have surrounded the Evergrande building. Like, security is out there right now in China, all of that. Like, it's crazy, but it is affecting us here. Another thing about how the world affects your money, I just finished recording the news. That news segment will be out next week. And on that news segment, we talked about the shortage in cars, new cars, used cars. And the shortage, first of all, is leading to high prices on cars, okay? So I gave the advice, if you don't need a car right now, don't go and buy a car. You are going to be boo-boo the fool because you're going to pay more than it's worth. So to wait till the shortage goes away. The main reason for the shortage is semiconductor chips that are stuck on ships throughout the world. And because they're stuck on ships, they are not able to get to the factories for cars to get finished. Any kind of link that's broken in the supply chain causes a ripple effect. And that's just with cars, okay? I'm not talking about everything else. That is just with cars. And so because of that's happening, semiconductor chips are coming from other places. They are causing a shortage here, which makes the price of the cars go up, which messes with your bank account if you sit there and buy a car right now, okay? So you end up buying a car for more than it's worth and end up taking more money out of your bank account. That's just one sector of the economy that the supply chain being broken is hurting. Another is furniture. If you have bought furniture at all in the last year, you know that it is a big holdup, okay? Because guess what? They're stuck out there in the ocean. Right now, I listened to NPR this morning. Over 50 ships are still in the ocean trying to get into the Los Angeles port. So everything is a week behind, okay? Right now, a week behind. And that the dispatchers are calling out to the companies and saying, what ships are priority for you? What really needs to get in here first so we can get them to the manufacturers. And they are actually, oh yeah, don't worry about a car right now. Wait a few months or you're going to lose your money. So, so they are asking these companies to please let us know which ships are priority for you so we can get them in first. They can get to the manufacturer and get whatever needs to be done. That's one chain that's broken in the supply chain. That's one link that's broken in the supply chain. What else is broken is when you get to the factories, okay? There are not enough workers. There's a shortage everywhere, all over the world, of workers. And that is making, like, you got the problem with the ships being in the doggone sea right now. But even when they get here, it's not enough people to put things together and get things out. I am feeling this myself. And you all may think this is like small beans and all that kind of stuff. But over the last day and a morning, I have went to 3 CVS's. And they have not had my bottled Starbucks Frappuccino. Like, I had a coupon. I could got it for free with my CVS, healthcare card I told you about the other day. And they're not there. And that's all I want. And I talked after the second one yesterday. I talked to the person there, and she said, we haven't seen our Coke truck in forever. She said, I don't know what's going on, but their deliveries have been delayed month after month. And after I went to the 3rd CVS, I realized it's obviously a worker shortage, that they don't have enough drivers. So that's one thing. Like, we talk about the ships with the link in the supply chain being broken. Those in the factory, not enough being there, broken. Not enough drivers to get where it needs to be, broken. That's what they talked about on NPR today. They said even with the ships being able to get in, they don't even have enough truck drivers with the 18-wheelers to get all those supplies to where they need to go. Like, this is you may not feel it right now, but this is a serious issue that can end up affecting our daily lives and, of course, our money. Like the Evergrande thing, that is immediate. That happened yesterday, and if they can't pay their stuff on Thursday, it's going to be a problem. And I haven't even got into the whole infrastructure bill that they are working on, and the debt ceiling that has to be approved by the end of October. Like, the next month and a half could easily be a nightmare with financially for, especially those of you who invest, those of you who work in these industries, those of you who work for the government. If they don't reach an agreement, because what the problem is right now is the Republicans have said that the Democrats are going to have to pass the whole debt limit situation on their own. And the Democrats said they're not passing anything without bipartisan. So they're already stuck there. And Janet Yellen, who's the Treasury Secretary, I know I'm kind of getting deep into things, but all of this, it affects all of you. Janet Yellen is saying that if you all on Capitol Hill don't get this limit pushed up and do what you're supposed to do, then it is going to make the economy slow down. That's where it affects you. So what they're doing on Capitol Hill, and we're talking about the debt limit, and you may be thinking to yourself, who cares about the debt limit and what's going on, blah, 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 blah. Let that happen where they don't pay their bills, or they don't let that money go up, and they don't approve that. It's going to hurt the economy. Okay, it's going to hurt the economy. And those that work in the government, a lot of them, that's the bills being paid. So if they don't pay their bills, then people in the government are going to get furloughed until they approve it. And you all remember the government shutdown a few years ago. If you have friends or new people that work in the government, they went without paychecks because of stuff like this. So it will affect probably tens of thousands of people if they don't do that. And that is just with that one thing. When you think about the infrastructure bill, which is 2 parts, by the way. Okay, so stay with me here. I know I'm going deeper and deeper into things. The infrastructure part is a 2-part situation, okay? You have the $1 trillion part that's really infrastructure. Let's get these airports looking better than they look. Let's stop having sinkholes everywhere. Let's just get our transportation under control. And then there's the human part, okay? And that's the $3.5 trillion. That is community college for free for, 2 years. That is pre-K being funded. That is making the child tax credit, permanent, those kind of things, like a social safety net. That's the second part. So follow me here with what's going on. All right. Everybody is down with the $1 trillion one. Okay. They know this stuff out here is messed up, right? They know all of this. Roads and everything is crumbling. Our infrastructure needs fixing. How to make both of the $1 trillion and the $3.5 trillion work is where they are bumping heads. Okay. So the moderate Democrats want the $1 trillion one just to go on through. All right. And the Senate is with it. House of Representatives, their moderate ones want that to go. Progressive Democrats want a promise that the $3.5 trillion is either going to go before that or go along with it. And so that's holding up. And the Republicans on the Senate side, and even the moderate Democrats on the Senate side, which is two of them, saying that they want it to be the one to be separated out from the 3.5 because they don't agree with everything in the 3.5. So they're bumping heads there. So in the next month, we have two huge situations. All right. Two huge situations that equal basically a $35 trillion problem. Not billion. $35 trillion problem in this country. All right. I know we got people from other countries watching. So those in the States, we have a $35 trillion issue over the next month that they have to figure out. They said that they're going to take up the $1 trillion bill by the 27th. It is what, the 21st? So we got 6 days to see what happens there, and that's going to happen. And like I said, the debt ceiling has to be approved by the end of October, or they're not paying their bills. That's $28 trillion there. The $3.5 trillion is just hanging out there. And whether it's going to be taken up or not, it's going to be fixed or not. They've had some setbacks this week. They don't agree with the Medicare pricing to be able to negotiate with that, or drug pricing, not Medicare. Medicare is already able to negotiate drug pricing overall. They wanted that out. They wanted the those that come here as immigrants to be able to go on to citizenship. They wanted that out. And so the $3.5 trillion one is a lot harder. It's going to be a lot harder to get together than the $1 trillion. But there are people saying they won't vote for the $1 trillion unless the $3.5 trillion goes. That's why I say all of this is a $35 trillion problem. Okay. And depending on how they behave and carry themselves over the next month, okay, starting next week, because the 27th is next week. So that's when you can start really paying attention. Depending on how they carry themselves over the next month will depend on how the stock market does, because they're already jittery about all of this that I just told you about. So not just only the Evergrande in China, that real estate developer, they not only have problems with that, they have problems with the supply chain situation that's pushing everything back, and they have a problem with the U.S. government, senators as well as representatives, what they are going to be doing over the next month. And depending on how things go, can end up making your investment portfolio tank over the next month. I'm laughing to keep from crying because, I will be losing money too. I'll be losing money too. It can go that way, or they can get everything done right. China may help out Evergrande come Thursday with that $100 million in interest they have to pay. Depending on how any of these situations goes, will determine whether your money goes this way or your money goes that way. Okay? So that's why I want to just jump on here real quickly, just to share that with you all. I know a lot of times I keep things really on the surface and I don't go as deep as I just went with you all. But those are the kind of things that I look at on a daily basis, and I study and I keep my eye on, because I'm trying to get ahead of it to make adjustments with my money. Okay. The reason I just told you all that about the whole car situation is that if you're looking to buy a car, you need to wait a few months. You need to let those semiconductor chips get in, let production rebound, the supply go up so the prices can come down. Right now, the supply is severely down, which means the prices are ridiculously high. So it's not a good time to buy a car right now. You need to wait some months and just follow what's going on with the supply chain, especially when it comes to those semiconductor chips. because that is the reason why it's such a backlog of cars not being there. And even with, and I'm not just talking about new cars, because there is a low supply of new cars, the the high price of used car, the price of used cars has went up, because guess what, they become really popular because there's a scarcity of cars. And now used car dealers are saying they can't even keep cars on the lot. In fact, overall, the industry last month said car sales went down just because they didn't have enough cars to sell people. They're actually now seeing the inverse of their problem. What they were riding high until they don't have any more product, and now the sales are going down, and they're seeing basically a decrease, and now their business is hurting. The economy is so interesting, right? Personal finance and financial literacy can be so interesting. So yeah, I know I sound really giddy about all of this stuff, but it's exciting to look at how things turn. But I always want to come and share with you all, when things hit me, and like that hit me because I just finished recording the news for next week about the car shortage, and I just wanted to expand on how all of this really affects your money and affects your bank account. So I think that was it. I think that was everything. Does anybody have any questions or comments or anything? Feel free to put it in the comment box. So those that just joined me, I just talked about how everything affects your money around the world. Things that are happening around the world affects your money. And then, of course, what happens here in the States affects your money as well. Any questions or comments before I let you all go? For those that came on a little late, feel free. I will save this. Feel free to watch the replay. Okay? All right, going once, going twice. Have a good Tuesday. Bye.